Out of the Park Baseball 15 is a baseball simulation to its core. While I've had lots of experience with games like MLB The Show and the MLB 2K series, this game is a lot different from those, as it's all about really what's going on behind the scenes. So really, let's just start off with what I liked about it. First of all, there is a crap ton of options. If you want to play a new game, you can play like any season from the 1800s all the way up to current, and they have every player with realistic stats on there. You could play with many different teams, and it's just really cool. Another thing I really liked about this game compared to games like 2K or MLB The Show are the great interactions you can have with the different players. Every once in a while you'll get an email in your box for a player asking if they can get an extension or more money, and sometimes it's because they love the way that you run your team, other times it's because they have a drug addiction. And speaking of that, there's also more suspensions and different things like that for different reasons, other than just fighting. There's drug abuse, there's steroids, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that makes it a lot more realistic. And I kind of touched on this earlier, but many different teams. You can manage whatever team you want from the lowest A ball in Korea all the way up to the major leagues. However, with all those pluses, there's a lot of little things that really bog it down. For one, the AI is pretty stupid. For example, if you look at this trade right here, you can see Tampa Bay sent Jose Molina to the Dodgers for Hyun-Jin Ryu. For anyone that watches baseball, you know straight up that that is stupid, and that would never happen. The other thing that I didn't like about it were the load times were pretty long, and up times up to 20 to 30 seconds. Now, maybe this is just, mileage may vary, but I have a pretty decent computer, and the load times were pretty bad. Something I am going to not quite knock it down a ton for, but it bothered me nonetheless, is that they advertise a 3D mode, and yet it doesn't work. While they did say that it is a work in progress, I don't believe a game that's charging as much as Out of the Park Baseball 15 should come with something and then it not work basically at all. One thing that really bothered me is there's no music. Do you hear that? Yeah, me either, because there's nothing, and it can lead to it becoming a little bit boring. Lastly, and probably the biggest issue I had with the game, when you pick what you're going to do, you can either manage the major leagues or you can try to get hired and you'll work your way up basically. The problem is that if you play in the minor leagues as a manager, you don't get sent any players. So you literally just have a bunch of what they call gym unknowns. As you can see right here, this is a year or two in, so I've gotten a few more players, but as you can see, look at the picture. Gym unknown. This completely gets rid of any immersion you had or anything like that, why would you want to literally manage a bunch of unknowns? It's really dumb. They should have full rosters when you do this kind of stuff. Overall, Out of the Park Baseball does a lot of things right, and the dev is promising to have more patches and community updates, so some of the things I said might be able to get fixed. However, at the current time of me reviewing this, I'm going to have to give Out of the Park Baseball a 6 out of 10. While it's an above average game because of everything I said, the customizability, the tons of options, and the great interactions, there's all that other stuff that's kind of bogging it down. My name has been Andrew Holmes for the Overshield.com, and I will see you next time.